You may have never heard this before, but in the life of Jesus Christ, there exists a mysterious gap of nearly 2 decades that the Bible does not mention at all. When reading the Gospels, one can easily notice something strange from the moment Jesus, at the age of 12, entered the Temple of Jerusalem and astonished the Jewish teachers with his profound wisdom. The entire story seems to disappear. It is only when he is about 30 years old, appearing at the Jordan River to be baptized by John the Baptist, that the curtain of mystery rises once again. So how did those 18 years pass? Where was Jesus? What did he study? Whom did he meet? And why did the Gospel writers choose such a long silence? Some theologians argue that there is nothing mysterious. Jesus simply lived a normal life, like any other Jewish young man in Nazareth, working as a carpenter alongside his father, waiting for the moment when God would call him into public ministry. But if it were really that simple, why have scholars, archaeologists, and countless extra-biblical sources through the centuries continued to insist that something deeper was hidden? The surprising twist is that in many places around the world, fragments of ancient writings, folklore, and even religious texts outside of the Bible suggest a shocking possibility. During those 18 missing years, Jesus may have left his homeland, traveling across distant lands in search of wisdom and spiritual knowledge. Some theories claim he went to Egypt, where mystical traditions and esoteric schools were flourishing. Others believe he journeyed further, as far as India, encountering the teachings of Buddhism and Hinduism before returning to Palestine to fulfill his divine mission. In fact, a manuscript discovered at the Hemis monastery in Ladakh, northern India, records the story of a holy man named Issa from the West, who spent many years there learning sacred doctrines and teaching the people. When Western scholars read the name Issa, they immediately associated it with Jesus in Greek. Was this just a coincidence, or could it be a forgotten fragment of history? Pause for a moment and imagine a young Jewish teenager leaving his small village, crossing deserts, mountains and seas, seeking truth in foreign lands. Such a journey would not only require extraordinary courage, but also raises a profound question. Were these very experiences what forged the wisdom and authority that he later displayed when beginning his public ministry? The story becomes even more intriguing when archaeological evidence and non-biblical texts seem to reinforce this theory. From Egyptian ruins to Indian manuscripts, from Persian legends to fragments in the works of ancient historians, clues appear to piece together a remarkable picture. It forces us to wonder, could the silence of the Bible be more than coincidence, perhaps a deliberate mystery preserved for centuries? The deeper we dig into these alternative sources, the more unexpected revelations surface, challenging long-held beliefs and traditions. If these accounts are true, then the 18 missing years of Jesus were far from ordinary. They were the crucial period of preparation for a mission that would forever change the destiny of humanity. And this is only the beginning. One striking fact is that not just one, but many different ancient sources mention the possibility that Jesus left Palestine and traveled during the so-called missing years. This raises a pressing question. Why were such important details never included in the canonical Bible? Was there a careful selection process or even an intentional silence by those who compiled the scriptures? In the Apocrypha, the writings not accepted into the official Bible, we find strange accounts. Some texts claim that young Jesus traveled eastward to Persia, where Zoroastrianism, the ancient religion of fire, was deeply rooted. It is believed that from this tradition, he could have absorbed ideas of light and the cosmic struggle between good and evil, themes that later appeared strongly in his teachings. Other Egyptian legends suggest that Jesus once visited their temples, learning from priests and secret traditions, before returning to Galilee. What surprises many scholars is the remarkable similarity between Jesus' teachings and certain Eastern philosophies. For example, where he preached about unconditional love, boundless forgiveness, and the superiority of the spirit over material wealth. These teachings resonate closely with Buddhist and Hindu ideas. Was this simply coincidence, or the fruit of a cross-cultural spiritual journey? One famous theory suggests that during his time in India, Jesus studied with Buddhist monks, observing their meditation practices, ascetic lifestyle, and emphasis on compassion. Later, he returned home, carrying new light to inspire his people. Some researchers even point out striking parallels between the Sermon on the Mount and ancient Eastern scriptures. However, we must not overlook the possibility that such stories could simply be products of imagination or misinterpretation, born out of people's fascination with the extraordinary life of Jesus. Careful historians remind us that we must distinguish between verified historical evidence and mere legend or embellishment. Yet, ironically, the lack of clear evidence only fuels curiosity and drives more people to continue searching. What is fascinating is that even today, debates over these missing years have never ended. Some are convinced that Jesus never left Nazareth, living quietly until his public ministry began. But millions of others strongly believe that his mysterious journeys left traces in many cultures, waiting to be unraveled. So what do you think? Were those 18 years spent in silence within a small village? Or were they truly a great journey across distant lands? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you find this story intriguing, don't forget to hit like so more people can discover this mystery. Because wherever the truth lies, those 18 missing years remain like a door never fully opened, a silent invitation for the world to seek answers. And strangely, this search only makes the figure of Jesus more relatable and captivating than ever before. Looking deeper into non-biblical clues, we encounter one of the most controversial documents, a manuscript published in the late 19th century by a Russian writer named Nicholas Notovich. In his work The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ, he claimed to have found an ancient record at Hermes Monastery in Ladakh. It spoke of a holy man named Issa, who came from the West, spent many years in India studying with Brahmin teachers, absorbed spiritual knowledge, and then continued his journey. Many quickly connected Issa with Jesus, suggesting this might be the missing piece of his 18 mysterious years. This story created a storm in Western scholarly circles. Some welcomed it as living proof of Jesus' Eastern journey, but many others strongly opposed it, accusing Notovich of fabrication or misinterpretation. The debate raged on for decades and remains unresolved even today. Yet the controversy itself makes the story fascinating. If it had no value, would it have captivated the world's attention for more than a century? Beyond Notovich, other explorers, scholars, and monks also mentioned Issa in their writings. Each account revealed a new detail, like fragments of an unfinished puzzle, sparking endless curiosity. Some even claimed that ancient Indian scriptures mentioned a Western figure who taught with such power that even local spiritual masters were moved. If true, this could radically reshape our understanding of the origins of Jesus' philosophy and teachings. Just imagine if Jesus had indeed walked in India, where concepts of karma, reincarnation, and liberation of the soul were deeply rooted. Could those experiences have influenced his later teachings? When Jesus said, "Those who live by the sword will die by the sword," or when he emphasized forgiveness and love for enemies, could those echoes reflect his encounters with Eastern philosophy? Of course, many firmly reject this idea. They argue that linking Jesus to other religions diminishes the uniqueness and holiness of Christianity. For them, the 18 silent years are simply a private period, divinely hidden as part of the great mystery of God. Yet it is precisely this clash of perspectives that makes the subject one of the most compelling enigmas in religious history. The truth is, whenever a new piece of evidence emerges, it not only fuels faith or doubt, but also stirs deep emotions among millions of believers worldwide. For many, the possibility that Jesus may have been in India or Egypt does not weaken faith, it makes him more relatable. Like a seeker of truth, much like ourselves. If such a journey happened, it would be a powerful testimony to humanity's longing to cross borders, cultures, and religions in pursuit of divine light. And here lies a crucial question. Will you choose to believe those years were merely a forgotten silence? Or will you embrace the possibility of a daring journey of exploration and discovery? It is this choice of belief that gives the missing years their enduring magnetism. Whatever side you lean toward, one cannot deny that each extra biblical clue is like a door left slightly open. It doesn't reveal the whole picture, but it allows a glimmer of light to shine through the darkness of history. And it is precisely this light that continues to drive humanity to search, because perhaps somewhere in a forgotten monastery or an overlooked manuscript, the final answer still awaits discovery. Looking back at the entire debate surrounding the 18 missing years of Jesus, one thing becomes clear. The silence of the Bible has left a space for imagination, faith, and endless research. Whether in Egypt, India, Persia, or Nazareth itself, the image of Jesus during that time remains like a carefully wrapped mystery. No one can say for certain. What matters is not only where he was, but how those years prepared him for when he reappeared at the age of 30. Jesus was no longer an unknown young man. He spoke with authority that astonished the crowds, performed miracles that left people in awe, and carried a message of love, forgiveness, and hope for all humanity. Clearly, those 18 years could not have been ordinary. Scholars, theologians, and believers across the world continue to propose different theories. Some see it as a journey of learning from great civilizations. Others believe it was a hidden life of silence, spent in deep union with God. And still others think the very ambiguity is part of the divine plan, a way for humanity to always yearn to seek him. Wherever the truth lies, one fact cannot be denied. The 18 missing years of Jesus have become one of the greatest mysteries in religious and human history. They stir the curiosity of skeptics, strengthen the faith of believers, and open doors to intellectual journeys that have lasted for centuries. Perhaps it is this very mystery that gives Jesus his unique appeal, for he is not only a historical figure, not only the savior in the faith of billions, but also a symbol of the human journey to seek truth, light, and the meaning of life, something we all pursue in our own way. If you've stayed with this story until now, you may feel your own questions and reflections rising about those 18 silent years. Did Jesus truly travel across distant lands to learn, or did he simply live quietly in his small village, awaiting God's call? Perhaps each of us will arrive at a different answer, but together, we all share in the search. The story may close here, but curiosity and the desire to know will continue. And who knows, someday, a new discovery may once again astonish the entire world. If you found this journey intriguing, feel free to leave a like and gently press the subscribe button, so we can continue exploring other mysteries of history, faith, and spirituality together. Perhaps the answer you seek will be waiting in the next video.